Hello my Catholics, I'm Vampire Ian and welcome to Batty Decks, the series where I give you a profile on a deck that I've brewed up on a whim for your entertainment. Tier limits are finally gone, so let me do a little dance while I check what is sure to be a very fun meta. Oh. Well, let's try to play a fun deck anyways. I present to you the ultimate lore deck, branded Dogmatika. Let's check it out. So here's the deck. Branded and Dogmatika have both seen their time in the sun, but for those who don't know them, Branded is a fusion archetype focused around the Fallen of Albaz and a crazy fusion spell, and Dogmatika is a deck that is based around sending extra deck monsters to the graveyard, both yours and your opponent's, while slowly turning into a ritual summoning engine that is focused on Dogmatika Ecclesia the Virtuous. Both archetypes are part of a massive lore that spans far more archetypes as well, and I simply don't have the brain power to fully comprehend it all. Thus, I got the brain genius and lore master Golden Nova to briefly explain it all.
In the isolated land, there's a nation to the far north known as Dogmatika, ruled by a faith that seeks to spread their influence far and wide. To accomplish this, the people of this nation are given holy brands, the stigmata, which grant them miraculous power, and the most gifted of those who bear the brands join the Knights of Holy Teachings, enjoying a revered position in the church. Sages like Aiden and warriors like Theo both count themselves among these ranks. But even among these most illustrious icons, two stand above the rest. The two virtuous Vestals, Fleur-de-Lis, who bore not just one, but four stigmata, utilized three holy relics, the sword, shield, and armor of Dogmatika to safeguard the faithful, and Ecclesia, the first person in all the world to bear the holy stigmata upon their forehead, who gave hope and comfort to all those who looked upon her innocent smile. These brands were given to the people by the head of the church, Maximus, who drew its power from a holy statue known as Nexus, which depicts two dragons in tandem guarding the goddess. But one day, an event that would shake the very foundations of the isolated land came to pass. Above the City of Saints opened a hole, one of many portals that would give or take from this land, seemingly at random. And this time, it gave. From its gaping maw plummeted a dragon made of steel that rampaged through the streets. But a mighty lightning strike from Fleur-de-Lis was enough to subdue the savage beast. But when the dust cleared, only a boy remained, one that Ecclesia would protect. But the Church of Dogmatika would have none of it. Ecclesia disobeyed her superiors and was thus excommunicated. Her ensuing execution would have been swift if not for the boy transforming into a bestial dragon, and with the help of the attacking Tri-Brigade, took Ecclesia and made their escape. With this development, Maximus decided it was time to begin the final act. By uncrossing his arms, the leader of the Church of Dogmatika unsealed the brands of all the people in the nation, and from them spewed a venomous, dark power. And it was not just the people who would change. The very land itself erupted, and from underneath the city arose a towering structure, a stage from which all the world's events would play their apportioned roles. And thus began the age of the Despia, looked upon by a strange boy who looked exactly like the one Ecclesia had befriended. Maximus and his right hand would ascend to new forms, while old characters would make their return. Fleur-de-Lis' old armor, left abandoned after she had sought answers in the wake of Ecclesia's escape, was possessed of the whole, becoming the church's white knight before finally transforming into a Despian itself. And since Ecclesia was gone, a new saint would have to take her place. And so, a child was chosen to bear the soul of the first saint of Dogmatika, Quem, becoming the church's white relic. Maximus, now wielding the title of Dramaturge, pressed an assault against all who opposed the church. Springans, Tri-Brigade, Sword Soul, Ice Jade, no matter what faction stood against them, they would fall all the same. And when the final battle of Golgonda ensued, Maximus would seize the ultimate power, the source of all brands that hid in the core of the Despian Church, and thus was reborn as the church's White Zoa. But this could not last, for ambition's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets its hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Despite Maximus's grand saga, ultimately, it is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
And also Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon is here for some reason, I guess. Thank you for that, Nova. Your check is in the mail. Everyone, go check out his channel. With that context, let's look a little closer with a card by card. Let's start with our rather small branded package. This is here mostly in order to make Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon, which goes crazy this format. But it also makes for a fun lore edition. We're playing 3 Aluber, the Boober of Duber, which searches the fusion spell. We're playing 2 Albaz, which is our fusion target. We're playing 3 Branded Fusion, which allows us to fuse with monsters in the deck. And we're playing 3 Branded Opening, which allows us to special summon Aluber from deck and protects our fusions while in the graveyard. We're also playing the one and only Dark Magician, the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense, in order to make Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon, who is crazy this format. Like I said, if you want to play the best, you gotta play the bricks. It's him, he's the brick. Next, let's go over the Dogmatika cards. Dogmatika packages are typically small, but with our plans for the ritual monsters, we have a bit more of a substantial package. We have both Fleur-de-Lis and Maximus, 2 good one-ofs. Fleur summons itself from hand when there's an extra deck monster on the field, and Maximus specials by banishing an extra deck monster from grave and can send cards from both extra decks after it does so. Fleur-de-Lis gets a negate. It's pretty good. Not want to run money more than that, but it's good enough to run one of. We have 3 Ecclesia, our lore girl. She can search any of the other Dogmatika cards. All of them. It's crazy. We have 2 ritual monsters. White Relic is a level 4 ritual monster, which is basically the most important part of the card, but it can also make a card in the field gain attack by the attack of another card on the field, making for some really big monsters sometimes. Albazoa is a level 12 ritual monster that has 4k attack and defense. It also makes all Dogmatika monsters immune to the effects of the opponent's extra deck monsters, and can force your opponent to either send cards from hand or extra deck to the grave, 1 for every 2 cards in our extra deck, or return all of their extra deck monsters to the extra deck. They're not doing that second one, I'll tell you that right now. It's a powerful effect, but it can be a double-edged sword, as we will soon see. 3 Nadir Servant allows us to search any Dogmatika monster by sending a monster from our extra with more attack, while locking us from summoning from the extra. 3 Dogmatika Matrix, one of the worst named cards of all time, allows us to search a ritual monster or spell, and then send the monster from either extra deck to the grave. Usually we're going to be using our own extra deck, as you'll soon see, but sometimes you need it to look into your opponent's extra deck to see if it's safe to activate Albazoa's effect. We have 2 of each ritual spell. Dogmatic Calamity allows us to ritual summon using a monster in the extra deck, and Dogmatika Macabre allows us to ritual summon from hand or grave using an extra deck monster in the grave. Lastly, Dogmatika Punishment is a one-of we can search with Ecclesia that allows us to destroy an opponent's monster with an extra deck monster with sufficient attack, being sent to the graveyard. We also have a single Preparation of Rites in order to get an extra search on our ritual monster, while also being able to recycle our ritual spells in the grave. Basically, this is just a extra 1 card to make this a 40 card deck instead of a 39 card deck, and it helps add some consistency while also sometimes getting us a recycle on our Dogmatika Macabre. Now you may have noticed that despite finishing our 2 engines, there are quite a few more cards left. That, my dear viewers, is the spice. Welcome to the party, please, the Secret Village of the Spellcasters package. For those who aren't aware, Secret Village of the Spellcasters prevents your opponent from activating spells when only you control a spellcaster monster, and vice versa when you don't. This floodgate is incredibly powerful, shutting down a third of the game, and wouldn't you know it, all of the Dogmatika cards, including the big ritual, are spellcasters. And you know what? So is Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon. It's almost too easy. To that end, we are playing 3 Secret Village of the Spellcasters, a terraforming in order to search it, and we are taking a page from Mystic Mind players by also playing the Metaverse to get out on the field during our opponent's turn. Just 1 extra search to make it that much more consistent. You could even play more Metaverse now at this point, since it's been unlimited, and Demise of Land to get even more of it, but I opted not to. It gets a little bricky. We've also got a couple of generic cards like Harpy's Featherdust to declare back row, and of course 3 Nibiru, because it's pretty good this format, what with. Now for the extra deck. First we're going to start with the monsters we'll actually be making. We have Mirror Jade the Iceblade Dragon, just a very good card in all branded decks. that banish is just unstoppable. Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon, of course, our signature card here with its negate and its destruction effect. It's easy to make off of Branded Fusion, and it's a spellcaster for Secret Village of the Spellcasters, so it's perfectly suited for us. Albion is here as one of our Branded Fusion targets. It requires Light Monster, and we have plenty of those, but it's not exactly what we want to be making all the time. If we draw Dark Magician, though, we can send White Relic, and that puts it in grave for Dogmatika Macabre. Lubellion is what we'll be making most of the time when we don't draw Dark Magician. This will send Dark Magician to the grave in order for us to make Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon. Titaniclad is here as a send off of whatever we want, because in the end phase it'll get us any card we want from our Dogmatika package. Now for the stuff that we basically just can't make at all, and we're just using the send to the grave for our effects. First off, we have the first Dark Lord. This has 12 stars, which is just enough for Albazoa. Elder Entity Entis is a known quantity. Everyone plays it when they're playing this kind of deck, it just gets a pop. Psyframe Lord Omega will allow us to recycle cards we've sent from the extra deck back into the extra deck. Wind Pegasus Adagnister can be used to banish itself in order to spin a card back. Here's our most important sends though, Herald of the Arclight. This monster allows us to search any ritual card when it's sent to the grave, and it's a level 4, which is exactly what we need to summon White Relic. It's perfect for our send off of Dogmatic Calamity. We have some new cards to the pool of cards that are designed specifically for Dogmatika Punishment to send them to the grave. We have Myriologic Aggregator, which negates an effect when it's sent to the grave. And we have Boral Code Dragon, which allows us to summon Topologic Bomber Dragon when it's sent to the graveyard. That's about it. That's all these ones are here for. Now for the side deck, we have 3 Ash Blossom to deal with, FTK decks or fragile combos of that nature, something to side in to deal with them. 3 Twin Twister, always gotta have back row hate. Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is one of the best cards this current format. Infinite Impermanence is pretty much always a good pick. And Solemn Judgment is a really good going first card that we're going to be siding in to protect our field spell. We're truly leaning into our Mystic Mind inspiration. Obviously, our goal here is to lock our opponent with a combination of Secret Village, Albazoa, and negates from Dragoon and Solemn. But even if we don't see the Secret Village, our powerful monsters can hold their own for a bit until we do find it. Let's be honest though, there's just gonna be a lot of instant surrenders. With that said, let's get into the games and pray for the God Hand. So our first game is in the casual ladder as usual. Our hand is, as you might expect, full of ritual cards, no ritual monster, and Dark Magician in it. At least we have a way to search the ritual monster, and we have Nibiru, but we're going first, so Nibiru is not exactly helpful. As I said, we're going first. We're going to add Albazoa to hand with Dogmatika Matrix. And then we're going to go ahead and summon that Albazoa using the first Dark Lord. We're going to activate the effect of Dogmatika Matrix to send Herald the Arclight, using Herald the Arclight to grab the White Relic of Dogmatika. We're then going to activate Dogmatika Macabre, sending the Herald the Arclight, banishing it in order to summon White Relic of Dogmatika. We're going to activate the effect to gain 4,000 attack. Then we're going to activate the effect of Albazoa, sending... Oh no. We have sent 3 Herald of the Arclight, 1 Entis, 1 Omega, 1 Garura, and Titaniclad. It's the mirror! They're going to chain all 3 Heralds, Garura, Entis, to pop our Dogmatika Matrix. And then they're going to add... Oh no. Hungry Burger! We can't beat Hungry Burger! Not like this! And they're going to go to end phase. Titaniclad will activate. And they will get Dogmatika Maximus. We're going to have to pass it back to them on this, and... yeah, Omega's going to activate in order to recycle. They're going to Terraforming to grab the new Hungry Burger field spell. They're going to activate the field spell. They're going to grab the trap. And... baby, they're going to get hungry. They're going to cycle Ben 10. They're going to ritual using Ben 10. They get out the level 1 guy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. That gets some Diviner of the Herald off of the Ben 10, and then the little guy is going to mill off the top, or excavate off the top. and they're going to grab Balmeneur de Nouvelle, I should say. They're going to ritual out Polite de Nouvelle because of the EZ in the end. And then they get Ben 10, and then they summon Diviner. Diviner is going to send the Herald that they recycled. We're getting White Knight of Dogmatika. They're playing White Knight. I don't know why. We're not playing it. It's not very good. They send Black Rose Dragon, of all things, and they're making FA Dawn Dragster. They're going to prep a preparation of rites in order to grab back the ritual spell and grab another ritual monster. Then they Nadir's Servant to grab Fleur de Lis, sending Omega, which can then recycle some of their extra deck monsters. They're going to Maximus, banishing Black Rose Dragon in order to summon Maximus. Maximus is going to send Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. We're going to send Herald of the Arclight in order to grab Dogmatika Calamity. But at this point, I think we know what's going to happen here. We also sent another Herald in order to grab Dogmatika Macabre. I think they sent Garua as well. Oh my god. And then they send our Albazoa. They send our Right Relic. I mean, it's just over. It's just all over from here. We're going to let them keep going, though, because we want to see what happens. We Nibiru, just to give them the giant Nibiru token. It's possible we could do something now. They were going to battle phase. We went to Nibiru, and then they stopped going to battle phase, and then they just keep going. They just keep going. I knew they have so many cards in hand. And then they set 3, activate the thing in end step, activate the table. A table. We draw Branded Opening off the top, pretty good. We're going to send the Dark Magician in order to get the Alluber. We're going to activate Alluber's effect, Branded Fusion, in hand. Activate that Branded Fusion. They're going to activate this Trap card, which negates it. We're going to activate Macabre in order to get our White Relic on the field. We were attempting to give Nibiru the attack points of the Nibiru token, which would not have been enough in order to clear the Nibiru token, as the Nibiru token has 350 more defense than we would have gained at the end of it. But they send our Nibiru token before we're able to resolve the effect, and then they get another ritual spell. I gotta say, the Hungry Burger support is looking pretty crazy. We're gonna scoop right there, and we're gonna go to another casual match, because this did not show off what the deck is capable of at all. So here we have the second casual match. Usually I only do one of these, but this time, to really show off the deck, I would do 2. We have in our hand Dogmatika Ecclesia, Nibiru, Secret Village of the Spellcasters, the secret weapon, Dogmatika Matrix, and Nadir's Servant. We're kind of stacked, but we don't have anything branded. We're going first once again. We're going to Nadir's Servant, sending the Herald of the Arclight. Sending Herald of the Arclight, since it has such a low defense, only allows us to grab White Relic, but grabbing White Relic is enough. We're going to activate the effect to grab Albazoa. We have the Dogmatika Matrix in hand, so we know we can grab that. Dogmatika Ecclesia can also grab it. We're going to grab Dogmatika Calamity. We're going to then activate Dogmatika Matrix in order to grab Dogmatika Macabre. Now we can make anything we want. We're going to Dogmatika Calamity in order to make Albazoa using First Dark Lord. We're going to Dogmatika Macabre in order to make White Relic. We're going to copy the attack of Albazoa. Then we're going to use Dogmatika Matrix in order to test their extra deck. And we send Gigantic Sprite. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they are on Sprites. Then we're going to Albazoa in order to send a bunch of stuff, now that we know that it's safe to do so. And what do they send? They send Cat Shark, Gin Buster, Nightmare Unicorn, Underworld Goddess, Mech Knight, Crusadia Abramax, Focused Aquamirror, and Sprite Starter from hand. So they're playing not just Sprite, they're playing Gishki Sprite. But we have the Secret Village of the Spellcasters, and we activate it, and now we wait for them to realize. They're going to start with a Nimble Beaver. They're going to activate it. They're going to grab another Nimble Beaver. That's 2 level 2s, baby. Oh, there's 3. And then they realize that they can't activate any spell cards. We take those. I'm telling you, Secret Village of Spellcasters, it's just a free win. You're going to get scoops. Next up is a best of 3 match on the ranked ladder. We have a pretty good hand. We have Alluber in hand. We have the Branded Fusion too. We have Nadir's Servant, we even have the Branded Opening, and we have Fleur de Lis. Don't need to search it this time. We're going to start things off with a normal summon Aluber, of course. They're going to Ash it. Perfect. That's perfect. Next we're going to Branded Fusion. We're going to send Albaz and Dogmatika Magician. That's his name right now. We're going to Lubellion, and our opponent is going to surrender immediately. They just couldn't beat Dark Magician. He's too powerful. The Dogmatika Magician is too powerful. In game 2, we have once again drawn a good hand. We have Aluber, we have Ecclesia, we have Branded Opening, we have Secret Village of the Spellcasters, the Spice. Dogmatika Calamity also makes an appearance. Our opponent is going to go first this time. Let's see what they're up to. It's Trap Tricks. They're going to normal summon Trap Tricks Putika in order to grab the field spell. They will then activate Trap Tantalizing Tune in order to send, then they'll make Sarah, and they'll activate the effect of Arachnocampa, activating Sarah to set Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Then they're going to set one and activate Trap Trip Garden. We're going to go ahead, we draw Dogmatika Matrix from deck. We're going to normal summon Aluber, we're going to activate it, then they're going to Floodgate Trap Hole. That does not negate us though, so we're going to let that go through, and we're going to grab Branded Fusion. They're going to activate Trap Trick Sarah in order to grab Dionea. They're going to activate Dionea in order to set Floodgate once again. And they're going to activate Trap Trick Terra in order to set Trap Trick's Trap Hole Nightmare. What a tongue twister. We're going to activate Branded Fusion, sending, of course, the Dogmatika Magician and Fallen of Albaz to make Lubellion. We're going to activate Lubellion's effect, sending Branded Opening. Branded Opening actually pretty good as just a send off of Lubellion if you happen to draw it and Aluber at the same time. And then we're going to make Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon. We now have a negate on board, so we can continue with our plays. We're going to summon Dogmatika Ecclesia. They're going to activate Gravedigger's Trap Hole. We're going to negate it with Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon, sending Dogmatika Matrix. Then we're going to grab Albazoa with our Ecclesia. Theoretically, we could have just grabbed another Dogmatika Matrix and just played that one, but I didn't feel like it. We're going to activate the effect of Red-Eyes Dark Dragoon to pop one of their monsters. Then we're going to activate Dogmatika Calamity in order to summon Albazoa. We'll activate the effect, sending a bunch of their Ixies and Link monsters to the grave. Then we're going to activate Secret Village of the Spellcasters, preventing them from using any spell cards, except for the field spell, which is already on the field. Unfortunately, can't do much about that. We're going to attack into things, getting a bunch of damage in. Could have gotten lethal if I had remembered to attack into Sarah instead of Dionea. I tried to clear the board with Ecclesia, but I forgot about the effect of the field spell. Putika is summoned in order to get rid of Albazoa, but then they realize that they can't really do much against our board. It's just simply too powerful. A negate and no spells. Pretty good, pretty good. We don't have... The reason why they surrendered is that at this point, we don't have to summon anything else anymore. So their Trap Hole cards don't really do very much against us. Pack has hyped this deck up a lot, which means you're going to get a lot of wins off of people who aren't as good as Pack trying to play this deck. So that's the deck. The deck's strengths lie in its ability to put up powerful boards and lock down the opponent's moves. Even if we don't draw our frankly ridiculous field spell, Dragoon and Alba put up plenty of resistance on their own. Our biggest weakness is actually trap cards, since we have very little protection against them, but as the Trap Tricks game showed, that doesn't necessarily mean we lose to trap decks. After all, you can simply go first. Decks that focus on main deck monsters also can give us a hard time, like ritual archetypes like Hungry Burger, but I wish them luck in getting over our 4K beaters. Luckily, if they do, we also have some recursion. Do make sure though that you keep in mind your locks. It's very easy to end up attempting to activate Branded Fusion after Nadir's Servant, and you're going to end up very sad if you try to do so. Also, try to scope your opponent's extra deck before you go for the Albazoa effect if you can. Albazoa's effect is crazy strong, but as we saw in that first game, it can backfire hardcore. It's certainly a strong deck, and I hope you all enjoy this ultimate lore experience wrapped up in one deck. Thanks again to Golden Nova for the cameo, and see you all in the next one. And so we've reached the end of another deck profile. If you liked it, why don't you give it a like, maybe share it around, maybe subscribe to the channel. You can find all my other deck profiles here, as well as other Yu-Gi-Oh content I do, like my signature series, 3 Shots to Duel. You can also find other non-Yu-Gi-Oh content here, and if you want more of that, you can also follow me on Twitch and Twitter, where I stream and post respectively. You can find that through my card, where you can also find the ways to support the channel, including direct and indirect ways, such as my TCG Player affiliate link, where you can get all the singles, sealed product, and accessories that you want, all supporting the channel at the same time. You can even get all the cards you saw in the deck profile here if you want to try out this deck at your locals. If you do, make sure to tell me about it in the comments below. With all that said though, I hope to see you in the next one. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and have a wonderful rest of whatever time it is for you. Bye!